Hi, I'm Matt Greenhouse with NASA's James Webb Space Telescope project. I'll be talking about the James Webb Space Telescope mission.
Kind of like a primordial Earth, sort of like an older Earth prior to a lot of the life forms. Like there are large-scale mountain ranges and huge lakes and whatnot.
As a kid, I was always interested in anything related to space, so I would constantly be reading books about the solar system.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining today's session. I'm glad to be here. It's so exciting because I'm sure that I'm going to learn a lot from both of you. Today we have Miss Divya. Our education is at St. Atulanand School, and we also have Kate, our educator from Europe. She also has experience in EdTech and education system. Could you please also introduce yourself?
Yeah, Ms. Divya, you can go first and then I will introduce myself.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mobina, and hello, Kate. It's such a great opportunity, and I really thank the Department of Education in Finland to provide us this kind of platform to learn globally with each other. I am Divya Singh, and I head an institution called SARA, which is a 40-year-old institution with around 4,000 students. And out of this, 350 students are hostelers, which means they are staying in the hostel on premises in the campus. And we believe in Indian values and global education. So here am I, and very happy and proud to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah, my full name is pretty long, so I prefer people to just call me Kate. I'm from Russia, but I work in China and I work for a social enterprise. I'm also a researcher, so I do EdTech because I'm trying to figure out how to merge urban and rural environments by using technologies, because it's the quickest and easiest way rather than developing whole physical infrastructures and bringing teachers physically to school. So yeah, I don't know, I'm definitely an enthusiast, but I'm also quite an expert, so I hope we can have a nice discussion.
Great to have both of you. I believe it's going to be a great session. Since both of you have been working for so long in the education system and you have many years of experience, I'm interested to know about your journey to become an educator. What is your story?
Okay, Mubina, is it me? Should I start?
Yeah, definitely, you can start. It's okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Mubina. It has been a long journey and a very fulfilling journey. I started off as a teacher way back, that is somewhere around 12 years back. And I was a teacher of political science to senior sections, grade 11 and grade 12. I worked with a lot of institutions before I came to SARA. SARA is located in Varanasi. It's the most ancient living city in the world, in India. And there have been certain stints which have made me who I am today. There was this Fulbright scholarship that I cleared in 2012 and went to US for a 6-month course, which really, taught me so many things. I met a Finnish delegation also there, and I was truly impressed with their system of education. And of course, there were many other people also. Singaporeans also, I liked their work ethics, and I liked the way the Americans were very focused on education. Apart from that, when I compare your countries, like particularly Finland to India, we are talking about two different worlds altogether. We are talking about 55 lakh of technology-driven country to 150 crores of Indians. For technology became the only platform once Corona struck. So it was the beginning of a new era as far as I can understand. It's a totally new era in education in India post-Corona. And it taught us so many things we otherwise would not have, maybe we would have learned at a very slower pace. So we learned everything quite fast, and we are eager to learn more. So that is the gist of it.
Thank you for sharing it with us. It was very interesting. How about you, Kate?
I have a background in doing first political research, after which I switched into economics, where I realized that for countries in the process of development, figuring out how to develop education is the crucial part for developing the market and the economy. So I got my interest in education from economic background, and right now I'm just trying to develop my knowledge in education and see how it should be changed for the needs of the 21st century, because the global education is outdated. Even in the, let's say, most privileged countries, I do believe that the education is very outdated, and overall people grow with a very limited mindset, which doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, you are right. I agree with you. As Miss Divya mentioned, after the pandemic, the education system had to adapt itself with the new methods of teaching and also new situation. Would you like Miss Divya share a presentation with us about the methods you used at your school, or how did you overcome the pandemic?
Oh, sure, yes.
Great. So I just
sharing.
Yeah, I just stopped the sharing, and I think you can also share. Can you?
Yeah, I'm just doing that. It still says that the host has disabled the Acha.
Okay, so our technical help from Calum Lab should, I think, help you with that. Let me tell him.
What intrigues me, meanwhile, is what Kate says, that even the most developed of countries are outdated with the digital scenario, or what it should be like. I mean, I'm really intrigued by that statement, and I wonder how long will it take for us to catch up. So
I think it's not about digital, it's the general vision for education. Education as a part of people's life, as institutions, they're just outdated. They don't really work, no matter which developed or not developed country you look at. It's just those who have better access to digital, they will transform faster. So they will again take over bigger markets and create more innovative enterprises. And those who don't have this access to digital, they will continue being at the back. Yeah.
That's very true. I totally agree with you, Kate. And I just wish that this divide should not happen again, at least in the
For sure.
And these platforms like the one you people are providing, they will certainly make us learn more and maybe get a lot of takeaways. So
yeah, hopefully.
This is the school, the Sant Adulanand Residential Academy. I will sort of flip through the first 7 slides a little faster. So that is welcome. That is welcome, and the whole concept is about creating a happy child. Kate, I mean, all the education, all the pedagogy is about creating a happy child. Onnelinen Lapsit. wonder world of a child. Of course, we all know that the child's world is full of wonders. There are so many questions, and when the problem should be when the questions stop coming, of course. So I'm just going to move a little faster. So these are the realms. Yeah, these all we know about this realms of child development that the Western world talks about, Kate and Mobina, the physical realm, the mental, intellectual, the emotional, psychological. We at India, and particularly in our school, we also focus as the core value on the spiritual realm. We think that education is not only a means to move to a good job or have a very successful life. It is also a way, a means to understand what life is all about, maybe successes and failures, maybe develop resilience, maybe the meaning of life, maybe a more grounded life, something that adds value to life.
That's great, yeah.
So we all know about these qualities to nurture in our child. So I'm going to move past this slide. Healthy parenting, we all know the practical aspects of it, how we have to teach money management, how we have to monitor the social media messages that go into our children's head as to how girls and boys have to behave, as to what is the standard of beauty that one has to ascribe to, whether in US or in India. It's the same for our children, what we are experiencing. Then, of course, the VARC system of learning and everybody's personalized way of learning. We move past this to okay. Now we come to Sara. Now this is a real-time picture of the campus, and all of you are most welcome to visit the campus and be at Kashi. You will certainly like it. So we at Sara, we have a very big green campus, a little bit away from the city, the main city. We at Sara strongly believe in encouraging the inquiry spirit of the child. So when you reach our offices, when you visit India and you board your flight to Kashi, Varanasi, and you visit our offices, you will see that there is a very prominent on-display message against an cute orange background. It says, "I am listening." So whatever, however experienced we are, however talented we are, this is the first quality of any mentor, whether an educator or a parent, to listen. We forget that, and without listening, no real education can ever happen. And it is to a human discourse, not only digital, human to human listening, human to human talking. So that is something that is the core value of our philosophy, what we believe in. Of course, like all other schools across the world, we encourage their interest in sports, drama, creativity. We teach observation and we teach silence. In the campus, it is very silent at night, which otherwise, why I'm speaking about silence is that in a country like India, where you have 150 crore people, silence is a rarity. Yeah. So silence is something, everybody is competing with so much of population. Competition becomes like, it becomes like a way of life.
Like in China. Yeah.
So when we teach them collaboration, we first teach them how to observe and be in silence also sometimes, how to get up at 5:30 in the morning and chant, maybe, do some yoga just for physical fitness. So spirituality is more about mental and physical fitness rather than about any religion. That is what we feel. Of course, communication, everybody does. Monotony through activity. We remove or avoid monotony through activity. Like on this Teachers' Day, the Indian Teachers' Day falls on 5th September. So on this 5th September, we took all our children, like not those 4,000, but the hostel-based 350 children on a cruise on the river Ganges. So along the side, there were the Banaras Ghats, which are as old as history. Like, we are talking about the oldest living city of the world. So the oldest thing we made them see in a very contemporary fashion through the newest cruise. So this is how we try to sort of, build up interest in certain ways, very small things, but fundamental. we let them explore the nature, help them learn from their mistakes, which is again, I think most of the schools are doing that across the world. So we tips to learners, that is also something very, very rudimentary. So we move on to the next slide. Life skills that a child must learn by age 14 at our campus, especially the hostel. Preparing a simple meal. So all Saturdays that you visit us, you will have meals prepared and planned by students. So doing the laundry, anybody above grade 5 does his or her own laundry. The old-fashioned way, we don't have that many washing machines, so we wash it through tap and bucket and everything. Planting a seedling almost every month, but of course majorly in the monsoon season in India. Writing a letter, physically writing a letter, not only on phone or anything, physically maintaining a diary or writing a letter. First aid, of course, workshops, companion shopping, these all go on maybe bi-monthly or maybe a workshop annually, semi-annually. Okay, this is also, So we have very many things to learn from you, Kate and Mobina. But small little things, very small little things which we feel we are doing good, we are performing nicely at, are things that
Is it me?
No.
Okay. Because usually it's me who's frozen, so it's like, oh my god.
No. It's okay, we should wait a little.
Is there any internet problem?
Yeah, for Mystic, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she left.
See if you can, like if you try to join, then you can.
You are mute, administrator.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for this disruption. See the digital divide. I am. I'm in a. Uttar Pradesh, and in a small town called Ayodhya. So this is the digital divide in action that you can see. So sorry for this.
It's happened many times.
Thank you so much. And affordable education. Ours is a private school, but of course very affordable. So we have a network of private schools in India which are very affordable, along with the government schools. So that is something I think I feel good about the country. Inclusive learning, because we have 22 official languages and we have people from different socioeconomic backgrounds. So it is my son as well as my peon's son, as well as maybe the son of an auto rickshaw driver, all studying together in the same classroom. So we have a very diverse classroom by default. Standardized learning, because we have NCERT curriculum and the entire country is runs on this standardized curriculum. And heritage, culture and tradition, they of course hold a very strategic and strong part in our education. And then I come to the point where Kate and Mobina, you were talking about how we dealt with the pandemic. During the pandemic, as I said, the digital space became not only a means to share information, but also a means to creative display of all the activities we would otherwise do. So we had painting competitions online. We had even dance clips sent online to celebrate our very colorful festivals. We went totally online, and one could, see the way a normal child of India went online, despite maybe, so many challenges. And the challenges are double fold many times, or maybe triple fold. So this corona proved to be a blessing, as far as I can say, in bridging the digital divide to some extent. So I would like to see it like that. And of course, learning together, especially from the Finnish education system, I think since our children cannot go abroad, it's a very it is a good school, but a school where the middle income group children or families send their children. So most of them haven't gone abroad, but the global community comes to them. That is what I ensured when I requested my Fulbrighter friends and other people to visit the campus online or offline. And the same I am requesting Mobina and Kate, both of you too. So your system, Kate, autonomy to teachers, that is something that I find it very, very interesting, because your teacher training system is very strong. We are starting with that in our new education policy that was drafted in 2020 during Corona lockdown. But as yet, we have to get rolling. It still has to start. So that is the thing. Then make the basics a priority. Like, you people are more focused on learning each day, not focused on clearing engineering entrances right from grade 8 or grade 9. What we do in India. So that is something I think I would like to know from you, or would want to learn from you. Minimal homework, relaxed atmosphere, cooperation, not competition.
Yeah. I feel like it all makes a lot of sense until you analyze the systems itself and how competitive are the state exams and how many universities can accept students.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but still, you are the best in the school education system across the world, and there is so much to learn. I mean, when this invitation came, frankly, I was a little overwhelmed. I was thinking that, what is it that I can offer you as a takeaway? What is it that you people, I think we would like to take away a lot of learnings from you. So
no, I actually think that because I personally met a lot of different Indian educators, and everyone has absolutely brilliant ideas and different programs at schools that make their schools unique and very interesting approaches. For example, even from what you were saying, I immediately paid attention to cultural heritage, courses. I think it's very important. And I think this is what a lot of countries actually lost, or they don't know how to teach, or there is some policy involved that doesn't allow them to properly have such classes. So it's very interesting.
Kate, on Saturdays, if you ever visit our school, you will see most of them in Indian handloom dress. So you might just see a person in the traditional Indian dresses. So that is one way. Then our way of greeting, essentially our way of life, we try very hard to keep it rooted to our culture, because that has been going amiss in India also. But of course, education, pedagogy, technology, that is where we want to go global. So that is how we want to progress. So like we have this festival, Kate, which is called Raksha Bandhan, where sisters tie bands on their brother's wrist, just out of affection. So we sort of just took a different take on it, and we made the students sign bands of protection on the trees, so that this emotional attachment to the trees.
Right.
So So you're personally connected. You get a very emotional attachment to the trees or anything where, you know, whereby your emotions are there. You get personally attached. Then, you know, you have to teach. Then they learn. So we work like that, and we move like that in our community and our space. So maybe on birthdays in hostel we cut cakes also, like children want to do it these days. But we also do the essential Indian way of celebrating birthdays, which is by touching feet of elders and taking their respect. So a child should not feel shy in that. They should not feel that maybe it is something to be looked down upon or to be discarded without even a second thought. You know, there's a lot of discussion and deliberation on these very small so-called issues, that what is in and what is modern, what is relevant, or what is important. These are very small things, but very fundamental things. So a lot of discussion, a lot of deliberation. The magazine is digital, and I'll share the links with you. We went digital since, like, it is this month, it is 1 year now. See the way the students are working. It is completely done by students. So our children might not be getting, like, you know, in standardized exams, they are not topping the list. Somehow maybe they are doing good, but not like really like always scoring the highest or anything. But in these parameters, they are doing good, which are not measured per se. Maybe in being rooted, in being connected to their culture, maybe in being feeling a little more connected, a little more happier probably.
Yeah.
But there are no parameters to judge it, or no parameters whereby we can say that, you know, this is the checklist for that. So maybe we can come up with a checklist in coming times.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And this is again very nice thing, that families that, you know, see questions together, they read together, they involve the children, whether it is the family, the community at large. It still has to be human to human. We cannot, you know, go all digital with the human being. It can't be, and it should not be entirely digital. So somewhere they have to feel rooted in the human interaction also. So maybe India has to go more digital, and that is how I see it. But of course, maintaining this particular connect. And now I think I would like to interact more with Mubina and Kate, both of you, whatever you have to say. So keep those for this presentation, for allowing me.
Thank you so much for sharing it. I'm personally impressed by what you are doing at your school. I have been seeing and listening to many principals at different schools, but I can say that yours is very different, and I'm interested to visit the city as well, because you said it's the oldest one.
please come.
Yeah, for
both
sure.
Both of you.
For sure. When I come, I will contact you. Thank you so much.
So I will be the host. When you and Kate come, I will be the host.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all the insight and the experiences that you said. They were amazing. So just moving to the last question that I would like to ask from both of you, because you both have a different point of view about the education system, and you, Miss Divya, you do differently at your school. I would like to know, what is your vision for utopian education system, which is the ideal education system?
Okay. Mubina, I intend to invite a lot of global presence in my school. Over the coming years, since my children can't go, or maybe not all of them can go abroad, and global education, global culture, to know and to experience it is a part of today's world. So I would be inviting a lot of global presence, whether online or offline, to this campus. And apart from that, I intend to keep nourishing the roots of Indian culture very strongly in their hearts. So wherever they go, they feel they take pride and they carry their culture with them. The culture lives in their heart. That is the dream.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For me, I would say, and this is how I feel like educational systems should start working and thinking, that rather than concentrating on national exams and, top scoring students, whatever not, and very limited, most popular specialities, professions, it would be great if schools would become those hubs for local communities to identify their issues and start solving them on the ground, very close to their neighborhood. So I feel like if schools would start being those NGOs that sometimes struggle with a lot of things, and when people could believe that children are actually capable of bringing solutions, sometimes small steps are already steps. And if those children can be supported by experts from all over the world, that would be an ideal system for me. And when schools would enable small businesses around, and I don't know, artists around, and any other interesting things just to boost and develop, that would be great, because a lot of schools are capable of doing it. And right now it is missing. Everything just like exists separately from each other. Museums, schools, businesses, whatever not. I want them to unite.
It's so beautifully said by Kate. And even old age homes, museums, everything connected in some way, some fundamental way.
Yeah. So yeah.
That's true. Thank you so much for sharing your insight and experiences. It was great to have both of you. As we are getting close to end of the session, do you have any end word or advice that you would like to add?
I would like to invite you all and would love to see you.
Definitely.
I would be so happy.
Campus.
We gotta do it now. I would love to, honestly. As soon as I can, I would love to come.
Yes, great. Thank you so much. And I just stopped sharing and stop the recording as well.
Thank you so much for the insights. I'm probably the youngest here, so I got to learn a lot more from the two of you. And thank you, Mobina and